We are now inviting Ramaya Ramani. She is going to compare two different methods of vitrification methods for cryopreservation of mature human oocytes.
Good evening, everyone. My topic for today is...
Hold it closer.
Is a comparison of two different vitrification methods for the cryopreservation of mature human oocytes. Now, in contrast to the preservation of male fertility, the techniques to preserve female fertility have only been recently developed. With advances being made in this field, cryopreservation of oocytes now serves as a very valuable tool in human-assisted reproductive techniques and now finds several applications. These include preservation of reproductive potential in cancer patients, women who are at a risk of premature menopause, building donor oocyte banks, no sperms collected at the time of the oocyte collection procedure, certain legal and ethical limitations, and a number of other social reasons. After the first report of a successful pregnancy using a frozen and a thawed oocyte in the year 1986, efforts have since been made to develop an ideal oocyte cryopreservation technique. Historically, overall success with respect to oocyte survival, fertilization rate, and pregnancy rate was low and has only improved recently. Hence, in the year 2006, according to ASRM and ASCO, embryo cryopreservation was the only established protocol for fertility preservation in female cancer patients, whereas all the other techniques were still considered experimental. However, with better survival and pregnancy rate being achieved with the use of these newer techniques, ASRM finally in the year 2008 published that oocyte vitrification and warming should no longer be considered as experimental. Oocytes are extremely sensitive to chilling injury and are severely damaged when they are cooled slowly by the standard freezing protocols. The efficacy of oocyte cryopreservation has been enhanced dramatically with the introduction of vitrification, which, with its high concentrations of cryoprotectants and an extremely fast cooling rate, transforms the cells into an amorphous, glassy state, thus preventing the formation of ice crystals. Several comparative studies, like the ones mentioned here, and more, done between vitrification and slow freezing, have led to the conclusion that vitrification is a far superior method of cryopreserving oocytes, as this technique results in a better post-thaw oocyte survival of the vitrified oocytes as compared to those that have undergone slow freeze protocols. Vitrification also results in a higher fertilization rate and subsequent better clinical outcomes. Now, when we talk about vitrification being a superior technique, it's very important to know what are the factors necessary for achieving an optimal vitrification procedure. The selection of cryoprotectants requires extreme care here because their concentration can be as high as 6 moles per liter, which can make the toxicity of these compounds a very key limiting factor in the field of cryobiology. Minimal volume method takes care of this as it allows only a very small amount of the final cryoprotectant solution to be loaded onto the carrier device, thus reducing the use of concentrated cryoprotectants. Now the oocyte or the embryo is immediately transitioned from 37 degrees Celsius to minus 196 degrees Celsius within less than a second, resulting in extremely fast cooling rates. And it's been shown that increased cooling and warming rates have shown greatly improved results. Now, apart from the different factors important in achieving good vitrification, these are the different carrier devices that we use for the final loading of the embryos or oocytes after vitrification. The cryotop, the cryoleaf, the cryoloop, and the electron microscope grid. The latest development in the field of vitrification is based on the concept of minimal volume cooling, which means that smaller the volume of the final vitrification solution, the higher the cooling rate. As you can see in the table, in the cryotop method, only 0.1 mul of the final vitrification solution is loaded onto the cryotop carrier, and it gives an extremely high cooling and warming rates. This is another paper which states that the cryotop method for cryopreservation of oocytes has been reported to produce excellent result with respect to oocyte survival post-thaw and other clinical outcomes. Now, where is a good oocyte vitrification program required? Whenever oocyte vitrification is used in fertility preservation, we hardly have 3 to 4 oocytes per patient. These few oocytes are the only hope for these patients to have their own child in the future. So 100% survival should be the only objective for any cryopreservation program. This is a brief history of Dr. Masashige Kuwayama's research in the field of vitrification spanning over 2 decades. Starting from cattle blastocyst in the year 1991, Dr. Masashige Kuwayama developed the cryotop method in the year 1999. Now, the cryotop device consists of a fine, transparent polypropylene film that is attached to a plastic handle, which is then equipped with a cover straw. The cryotech method is the most improved and the latest development in the field of vitrification, again developed by Dr. Masashige Kuwayama himself. The cryotech method differs from all its earlier methods of vitrification in terms of constituents of the solution, as well as in terms of design of the vitri and the vitri plate and the warm plates and the carrier device that's used for loading. Cryotech vitrification has several advantages over its earlier cryotop method. Advantages of the solutions in terms of their constitution, the plates, and the cryotech carrier device. The solutions used in cryotech vitrification do not contain any serum, hence the risk of potential contamination due to the presence of protein or serum is completely alleviated. Sucrose, that is a non-permeating cryoprotectant, is replaced here by trehalose, which overcomes the problem of endotoxicity which was otherwise present in sucrose. Significant improvement by adjustments of cryoprotectants have been made to reduce the toxicity of the solutions. Moreover, these solutions are stable for over a year when stored between 4 to 8 degrees Celsius, and they're stable for about 3 months when they're stored at room temperature. The vitrification plate used in cryotech vitrification has a special holder for the cryotech, as a result of which the focus remains the same while washing the embryos in the vitrification solution and placing them onto the carrier device. There's no blind space in between wells, so the chances of losing oocytes or embryos at the time of washing is reduced to a great extent. The warm well, where the thawing solution is poured, is included in the warming plate itself, which allows easy and successful ultra-rapid warming of oocytes. Finally, the cryotech device, that is a carrier device used for loading the oocyte or the embryos, can be used as an open as well as a closed system. Now, the present study was designed to compare the efficiency of 2 different oocyte vitrification protocols, the cryotop and the cryotech method, by evaluating oocyte developmental competence post-warming and the clinical outcomes of the warmed oocytes. A total of 611 mature oocytes were vitrified and 131 embryo transfer cycles were performed using the embryos that were created after fertilizing these warmed oocytes with ICSI. The retrieved donor oocytes were then vitrified within 2 hours of the oocyte retrieval procedure using the cryotop and the cryotech method. The embryos thus formed were then transferred into the appropriate recipient on day 3 after proper endometrial preparation. In the cryotop method, the oocytes are initially equilibrated in basal solution and a gradual increase in equilibration volume concentration is achieved in 15 minutes. The oocytes are subsequently washed in vitrification solution to completely remove the traces of any ES. The oocytes are then transferred with minimal volume on the surface of the cryotop carrier. In the cryotech method, the oocytes are vitrified by a 2-step protocol. They are initially equilibrated in the equilibrium solution for 15 minutes and subsequently washed thoroughly in the vitrification solution till traces of ES are completely removed. The protocol for warming of oocytes is the same in both the techniques, that is the cryotop and the cryotech techniques. The oocytes are warmed using a 3-step dilution procedure, at the end of which the warmed oocytes are incubated for about 2 hours before performing intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Now, a total of 56 donor egg cycles were included in the study. The mean values for the age of donors and recipients were comparable. The total number of oocytes vitrified and warmed using the cryotech method was 275, and the total number of oocytes vitrified and warmed with the cryotop method was 336. The survival rate for the oocytes that were warmed using the Cryotech protocol was 97.17%, and that with the cryotop method was 95.14%. The fertilization rates of the oocytes after carrying out ICSI were 90.72% and 86.15% in the Cryotech and the Cryotop groups respectively. It was, however, interesting to note that there was statistically significant difference in the cleavage rates obtained between the two groups. That is 96.85 for the Cryotech group and 91.88 in the Cryotop group. Pregnancy rates achieved with the Cryotech group was 54.83%, and that with the Cryotop group was 40.57% respectively. In conclusion, I would just like to say that it can be inferred that the media used in the Cryotech method has several advantages, which cumulatively adds up to give a higher survival rate and a better developmental potential. The current study resulted in a very higher survival rate, though this difference was not significant statistically. Cleavage rate was found to be higher in the Cryotech group. This can be attributed to less trauma that was caused to the oocytes during the vitrification and warming procedure using the Cryotech media. The Cryotech vitrification thus has proven to be a very highly effective method of oocyte vitrification and can be successfully applied in building donor oocyte banks as well as in fertility preservation for various oncologic and non-oncologic reasons. Thank you.
The Mylan pharmaceutical team to come up and present their certificates to these two youngsters along with the chairpersons. You can come up in front for a photo op. Sakina Kagalwala, please. Gurul, next is Mylan ka appreciation. Ramya Ramani. Look in front. You can also go up. Thank you. I would now like to request Goral to present the appreciation award to the Mylan representatives Vishwajit Kamath and Nanda Juwatkar for having supported us in this Young Science initiative. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mylan Pharmaceuticals. Thank you.